I'd like to begin by asking you to consider a question. The question I'd like you to consider is, why do you want to work safely? There's a lot of good reasons you've all stated for working safely, and that's important that you have a reason that's good for you. I want you day in and day out to think about those things. For those of you who said family, I've got something that might add to this. I would suggest to you, if you have family, when you're doing your job or doing anything, you might ask yourself this question. If my family were watching me do the job, how would they want me to do what I'm about to do? Then I thought of another concept. What if you, when you're about to do anything, asked yourself, is this the way you would want your son or your daughter to do it? Ask yourself that question. My guess is, if at that moment you decide to do something the way you'd want your son or daughter to do it, guess what? Probably going to be the safest way you can do it at that point. Probably the safest way we could think of at that moment is what you're about to do. And I want people to think about safety 24 hours a day. I don't want you to just think about it when you come through the gate here. I mean, it's important that you're working safely here, and we appreciate that. But I want you to understand that when you leave, safety is just as important. In fact, my personal belief is if you focus on safety 24 hours a day, you will actually be safer here, because your mind becomes what? Always attuned to what's the safest approach to something. That can make a huge difference. So this present will help you think of that, and I looked around. Most of you have one of these. You'll think of it when you look at yours also. So how would you like this nice watch? There you go, yeah. Because there's people in the audience going, how did I take your watch? And we're going to show you, so come on up here. All right. There we go. I'm going to actually show you. In order to get his watch, here's what I had to do. There's two little straps holding down the band. So first step is I had to slide that, pull that through there. That's step one. Then I had to take and pull the band like this and move the metal keeper out of the way. Step two. Then I had to push this like so and take the watch off. Now, you'd think Chris would notice that, okay? I mean, that's fairly obvious, right? And he didn't notice it for one simple reason. The same reason you and I are put in a situation where we can have an injury, and that is distractions. Now, the distractions that are going on, by the way, are the same ones you and I face day in and day out, on the job and off, that can cause an injury. The mental distractions, physical distractions combined allowed me to do something as obvious as take off his watch. And they're no different than what you and I face day in and day off on the job. So we'll let you have that back. Thank you very much. Now you can go back to your seat. Appreciate it. Let's give Chris a hand. All right? There we go. But I find it very fascinating that some distractions are actually the same as the reason I just asked you, why do you want to work safely? Isn't that interesting? I asked you why you want to work safely, and several of you said, some of you mentioned family. And then if you've got kids, you live with what? You live with distractions. You absolutely live in a world of distraction if you have children. Because if you get up in the morning, and the lady over here, if you get up in the morning, one of your kids is sick, my guess is you're thinking about them during the day. But you see, what I'd like to do is teach you a technique that will allow you to bring yourself back to a point of focus. So you're doing your job, you're doing whatever it is, and you all of a sudden find yourself thinking about your kids. At that moment, I'd like you to stop and ask yourself this question. What do I need to do? What do I need to do to get home safe to my kids? What do I have to do right now on the job with what I'm doing, the task I'm doing, whether it's driving, working on something, anything else, to make sure at the end of the day I get home to them? And that will bring you back to focus. You see, you can take the distraction and actually use it to bring you back to a point of focus. There's another thing you can do. Take it one step further. When you get home at the end of the day, tell your family what you thought. Tell your kids and say, hey, I was thinking about you today. And when I was thinking about you, what came to mind was, what do I have to do to be safe to get home to you? Now, what that does is it lets your family know that safety isn't just something you talk about. It's not a poster, it's not a billboard, it's a value. It's something you believe in. Please name the number of a card, not the suit, just the number, and then I'm going to ask the gentleman over here, you're going to name the suit, hearts, clubs, diamonds, or spades, okay? So the number would be the 8 of spades. Let's take a look and see. Because once again, there's no way I'd know. Pinch between two fingers, I'll take the cards out just as I put them back in the box. But before I did, I turned one card upside down, and there it is. Let's see how lucky I've been today. And there you go, the 8 of spades, just like so. Thank you very much. All right. What did that trick have to do with safety? Well, actually, quite a bit. That trick was about predicting the future. And I'm here to tell you that that was sleight of hand. Whatever card you pick, I'm going to get. Why? Because I'm good at what I do, just like you're good at what you do. You're skilled at what you do day in and day out. But it turns out it is absolutely possible for every single person in this room to predict the future. And the way you predict the future is by observing events in the world around you. You can look around you and you can make predictions that are so accurate, it's almost scary. I'll give you an example, because years ago, I'm driving my daughter to school. And it's back when she was in elementary school, and we're driving down the road, and a car pulls up to an intersection, comes to a stop sign, and she sees it first. It's one of these cars with a chain holding down a hood, a bungee cord holding the trunk, right? Yeah, dents and different color paint and everything. You've seen cars like that, right? The part of me that's committed to taking personal responsibility for my own safety is doing something very interesting. The unconscious part of my brain protecting me has taken my foot off of the gas, and it is now hovering over the brake. Because there's part of my brain that's thinking, they might have bought that car new. Yeah, they may have earned every dent on there, right? And yeah, you see, that part of me is what? Protecting me, saying, that could be a giant sign saying, I can't drive! And so I've got my foot over the brake. And sure enough, as we approached the intersection, that car pulled right in front of us. I hit the brake, avoided hitting him. Did it cost me anything to do that? No. Just that little awareness and more alertness, predicting what could happen next. Okay, now cover it. Now do exactly what I do. Go 1, 2, 3. Let's see what you got. Now, see, you want to right side up here, Scott. Give me a break, okay? Yeah, come on, all right. Yeah, come on, turn it over. Yeah. Got it? Okay, got it? Okay. Now, ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's see what you got. No, Scott. Okay, so let's see if Scott finally figures this out. These guys will help him, and we can move forward. And then, okay, so what do you got? Whoa. That's now that's embarrassing. Yeah, no, not for me. Yeah, actually, Scott, it's embarrassing for you. Okay, yeah, right like so. Yeah. Yeah, I say, Scott just learned a valuable lesson. It's not a safety lesson, but it's a good one. It's called Scott never cheat a man at his own game. Okay, so now. But now, what Scott did is what we call a shortcut, right? I said 1, 2, 3, he went 4. And by the way, some of you encouraged him. Yeah. I saw you out there, some of you going, turn it over! Until I hit it the other way, and then you're like, it's amazing. But you know what? It's just like that. Sometimes somebody encourages you to take a shortcut, and what happens? You take the shortcut. Do they pay the price for it? No, you do. And we're all tempted to take shortcuts. In fact, my guess is everybody in this room is taking a shortcut. The problem with shortcuts is they violate our normal learning system. So if not for yourself, I'd ask you to do things the way we asked you to do. If not for you, for the new people. See, they may not know what you know. And I'd suggest to you that you never want to be, I know I never want to be the person that teaches somebody else how to get hurt. Shortcuts are one of those things you have to agree as an organization you just don't do. Because you never know when one person is going to need it. You never know when one person is going to need the right procedure, the right policy, the right personal protective equipment, whatever it is, to make sure they don't pay the penalty. How to get hurt, I want to be the person that teaches somebody the most excellent way to do it. And if you're one of those experienced workers, trust me, people are watching you. The new people look and see how you do it because they know you know. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to show you how a magician tears up a newspaper. First, I'll start out, show you 4 pages. Ask you to look for an advertisement or a picture, something that you might recognize if you saw it again, all 4 pages. Now, at this point, I tell you I'm going to tear the newspaper up, but that's the secret. I don't really tear it. I just pretend. I didn't mention to you, this newspaper is just like you. Now, Jeff's looking at me like, what do you mean it's like me? I could take this newspaper here, and I could tear it to shreds. I could rip it all apart, and I could give you some Scotch tape, and you could lay it on a table, and you could line it up perfectly. You could get every fiber perfect. You could get every letter exact. But no matter what great job Jeff did, there would be a profound difference between that newspaper and this one. And that is, it's not as good as it was before. You see, it's the same thing with people. If you get hurt, are you less valuable to your friends and family? No, they still care about you. But you may have given up something. You may have given up the ability to do something. And at the very best, if you ask a physiologist, they will tell you that that part of your body is more susceptible to injury in the future. That is not a good thing. So what you want to do is you want to what? Work safely all the time and not have something to fix afterwards. So here we go. Watch closely. Here's how I pretend to tear a newspaper. Bob's got that look in his eye like, I don't care what you say, that sucker was torn. It's a good trick. Okay, we'll do it again. And we'll show you all 4 pages, torn up again. Now, I'll add in the sound effects. You may even think you hear it tearing. That really sells it. Awesome. It takes hours to develop that noise, trust me. Okay, ready? Here we go. All right. Now, at this point, most magicians tell you they're going to fold this whole thing together again. You see them folding and creasing everything, but that's a bunch of nonsense. Because as you can see, the newspaper has never been torn. It's just like we started, and that's the way I want you to work, is safely with nothing to fix afterwards. Thank you. Now, I know some of you think I'm hiding a newspaper in here. So I'll show you all 4 pages again, and I'll ask you to look once again for an advertisement or a picture. Something you might recognize if you saw it again, because as you can see, this newspaper is just like we started, all in one piece. And that's the way I want you to work and play, is safely with nothing to fix afterwards. Thank you. All right. Some of you work in an office. You sit at a computer. You never thought about wearing a hard hat. But when you're at home, you might want to think about it. You see, that stuff's important when you're at home. The safety glasses and all the other stuff. Are you doing that all the time or just part of the time? If you're just doing it when you come through the gate at work here, then you're missing out on a big portion of safety. And you're missing out on the portion where your kids get involved. You see, several years ago was my son's birthday. And I always buy more fireworks at 4th of July than I need, because our Rotary Club's always selling them, and I buy tons of them, and I've got plenty of extras. He said, hey, can we do fireworks on my birthday? I said, yep, you bet. And I said, well, you set them up, I'll come out and supervise. And I go walking out in the backyard, and what do I see? But him and his 7 friends all wearing safety glasses. Is that cool or what? Now, by the way, did he learn that by taking a fireworks safety class? No. He learned it by watching Dad. You know who really pays for an injury? The person that gets injured. You're the one that deals with the pain. The gentleman said pain back there. You're the one that deals with the pain, the suffering, getting the estimates on your vehicle, whatever else it is. Whatever you've lost as a result of that. There are times in life when it doesn't matter who's right, and safety is one of them. Because if you're burned, bleeding, or broken, you've lost the game. You're the one that pays for the injury. So you want to be the one that does what it takes to prevent it. You see, safety has a huge impact. It makes a huge difference in everybody's life. So use that personal protective equipment, because you don't get to know when you're going to need it. You know, the real payoff to safety for me happened about 4 or 5 years ago. About 4 in the morning, the phone rings. And she said, it's Jessica. She's okay. She got in a wreck on Highway 99. She's by the side of the road. She told me where it was. I got dressed. Off I went. I pull off the side of the road. There's her car in the ditch, totally destroyed. She comes over and gives me a big hug. She said the spinning was incredible. She was thrown one way, back the other way. She said the airbags went off, but it wouldn't have mattered. She'd have oozed out around them with all the spinning around and everything. It's because she had a seatbelt on that she was fine. And it's all because of somebody caring enough about safety to say, how do we make sure nobody gets hurt in this situation? That's the way I want you to approach things. Watch out for yourself and the people around you, because the payoff is huge. Take safety home with you, because that's when it pays off, when your kids get it. Like I said, how did my daughter know to wear a seatbelt? Because from the time we picked her up at the hospital and put her in that car seat, every single day we strapped her in a car seat. So once again, I want you to work as safely as you can. Stay focused. And make sure you watch out for yourself and the people around you. And have a real safe year. Thank you very much. Thank you.